What's up, everybody? It's an absolutely beautiful day here today. The sun's out. It's not really even that hot. You know, for the last 3 days here in Sarasota, we've had nothing but rain. We probably, I don't know how many inches of rain we got, but on the plus side, it cooled the water down in the Gulf. The Gulf was like 90, 91 degrees, and now it's like 87. So now you could actually somewhat cool off when you get in it, which is really nice. But I want to talk today about the things that you should look out for as a buyer if you're looking to buy a home. And these are also the things that would make it very difficult if you're a seller to sell your house. And these are things, some of these things are non-negotiable and some of them are negotiable. Of course, it depends a lot on the price, and a lot of this is relative. But I'm going to tell you guys, if you're a home buyer right now looking to buy in this market, these are the things that I would point out to you if I were representing you as a potential concern for your investment. So let's start with the thing that I would look for before you'd even go into the house. Okay, there's a real estate term called external obsolescence. And what that means is there something that is nearby your property or within sight of it that could potentially affect the value? Now, the most common forms of external obsolescence are road and power lines. So if you've got a road behind you, especially if it's a road that you can hear, even if you can hear it outside, it doesn't matter. I probably would not consider that. And also power lines. I mean, power lines have been linked to some health concerns. So those are things that I would probably advise you to probably not go for if you're looking to buy. And they are an issue if you're looking to sell. So external obsolescence, power lines, and road. There's another form of external obsolescence, and that is unsightly neighbors. So a lot of you guys say, I don't want an HOA. But HOA, their main purpose is to protect your home investment. So if your neighbor is turning his car or turning his house into a used car lot or a place where he works on cars, it's not going to bode well for you when you go to sell. So external obsolescence could be in several different forms. The most common are power lines, road, and unsightly neighbors. Now, if you're buying something as a rental property, maybe having a road behind you isn't that big of a deal, provided it's not a busy road. Another thing for you guys to look out for before you even go into the house is the lot. Okay, does the lot hold water when it rains? That is a big problem when people go to sell and the buyer's walking around the backyard and they're sloshing their feet through the mucky water. You know, that is not good. Okay, so having a yard that's high and dry is so important for you guys to be paying attention to when you go look at properties. Okay, another thing is the smell. Does the house have a smell when you walk in? That is the first thing buyers notice when they go to look at your house, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Okay, so if your house smells like potpourri, it means that they're probably trying to hide something. Usually it's a pet odor or something of that sort. But the thing that your house should smell like when you're showing it to a buyer is nothing. Okay, it should smell like okay, if you were to walk outside in the wintertime, that's what it should smell like. Okay, maybe like a fresh scent of like wind-driven snow, but it should not smell like potpourri, and it should not smell like anything that's not, you know, not normal when you walk in. And when I say not normal, cooking odors are normal, but you don't want to smell cooking odors either. Okay, you should smell nothing when you walk into a house. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is the roof. Okay, roof is a big one because it's going to save you a lot of money on insurance if your roof is newer. If your roof is older, if you can get insurance, it's going to be a lot more expensive. If you're looking at a house with a shingled roof and it's over 10 years old, just know that it's going to be an issue with the insurance company. If you're looking at a tile roof and it's over 20 years old, it's going to be an issue with the insurance company. Same with metal. They'll give you about 20 years. But shingles will give you about 10 years before the insurance company makes you either replace it or they're going to jack your rate. So that is the most important thing from an insurance aspect that you should look out for, is the roof. And since I mentioned insurance, guys, windows and sliders are huge too, because windows and sliders, not only should they function properly, and if they don't, it's going to be an issue on the home inspection, but having impact windows and sliders is going to save you a lot of money when it comes to your insurance. If you are a seller and you're looking to replace old windows and sliders, you should not be trying to skimp on that and then put the money towards something else, because windows and sliders are a huge selling point if they're impact rated, because not only do you have the hurricane protection that's going to save you on insurance and also give you peace of mind if there ever is a storm, it's also going to provide for better insulation, and it's going to provide for better noise reduction too. So impact windows and sliders are a huge benefit to a buyer, and that's one thing that they do look for. Now, if your house doesn't have impact windows and sliders, especially sliders, I see it all the time, the sliders don't function properly. At least make sure they function properly, because if they don't, it's going to be a big issue when you go to sell, and it's definitely going to end up on an inspection report. And also, guys, flooring is very crucial. Okay, I see houses that are sitting on the market that are not selling, and most of them have different flooring, like a hodgepodge of flooring. So when you walk in, there's like the entrance foyer is going to have a nice tile, maybe with a nice inlay design on it, and then you look to one side where the dining area is, and it's got like a different flooring, and then a different flooring in the kitchen. I see houses that are selling quickly that have the same flooring throughout. And guys, tile is king in Florida, okay? It is the best material that you can put in a house, okay? Now, people argue with me about this and say, oh, LVP is fine. But if you're looking to get top dollar, guys, put tile in, because tile is very durable and it looks very nice, and there's tons of options when it comes to tile. So you want your flooring to be cohesive and have everything, especially if it's a small space, have everything consistent, so you don't have different flooring in different rooms, because buyers hate that. Okay, now if you want to put a different flooring in the bathroom, then that's fine, but for everywhere else in the house, including the bedrooms, and people say, oh, I like carpet in the bedrooms. Most people do not like carpet in the bedrooms. And if you go to any builder house, they're always going to do a nice tile throughout and then put carpet in the bedrooms. Why do they do that? Because they want to save money. So most buyers do not like carpet in the bedrooms, so put the same tile in the bedrooms as you do in the rest of the house. Another thing too, when it comes to making upgrades to your house, guys, kitchens and bathrooms do sell houses, okay? So a lot of sellers, they think that having like that crazy looking granite is gonna be like, oh, the buyer's gonna like it. And a lot of older sellers in particular that may have updated their house like 10 years ago with that, they think that that's gonna be like something that every buyer is gonna want. But most buyers now want quartz, okay? Granite is almost like becoming a thing of the past. And if you're gonna update your kitchen, and one thing that I would look for as a buyer's agent, the granite, if they're trying to put a big value on the granite, just know that the buyer is probably going to go in there and replace it at some point very soon. So outdated kitchens and bathrooms is also something that is going to be a detriment when you want to sell, and it's one of the things that I see houses that are sitting on the market right now for a long time is you know, people just don't want to update anything, especially kitchens and bathrooms, because the kitchen is where people spend most of the time. You know, they do spend some time in the bathroom too, but I think that's probably a sad life to live. But yeah, you spend most of your time in the kitchen, and when you have guests over, that's where everybody congregates. So if you're going to make updates, you know, along with the flooring, the kitchen is definitely one of the main draws that draws your eye from a buyer's perspective. This is probably the most important thing worth mentioning, and it's something that buyers, for whatever reason, they never really consider this whenever they want to go look at a property, and that is what direction the house faces. Okay, so if the rear of your house faces west or southwest, it's going to get a lot more natural light. So houses that are dark just don't sell. And if I'm representing you as a buyer's agent, I'm going to notice that. I'm going to say, look, this house is kind of dark, but yeah, you can make all these updates. But one of those things, you know, one thing you can't change is the fact that your house faces, the rear of it faces east, and you're not going to get much natural light. It's going to be an issue when you go to sell. Even if it's not an issue for you, which, you know, most people it is an issue for, it's going to be an issue when you go to sell. So make sure your house faces west or some variation from the west, because that's going to bring in the most natural light, and houses that face west sell quicker. So I hope that gave you guys some good insight on what it takes to sell your house, and, you know, what buyers are looking for right now, and some things that I would point out to a buyer. You know, and one of my jobs is to, look, I'm not going to make the decision for you and say whether or not you should buy the house, but I'm going to point out something that I think could be a potential detriment when you go to sell it, and can be something that maybe you don't notice, but something that a buyer is going to notice if you go to sell. So hope you guys have an awesome day. God bless.